Today we're going to discuss 5 mistakes that buyers make and how to avoid them. Hello, my name is James Roffel, realtor with Royal LePage in Kelowna. Before we get started, if you do like this video, please drop it a like so others like you can see it. And subscribe to the channel for more if you do like this kind of content and are interested in the Kelowna or the Okanagan area in general. Lastly, if you'd like to book an appointment with me, there is a link down below, whether you're a buyer, a seller, or you just want to ask general questions about the Kelowna or the Okanagan real estate industry. I'd be happy to book an appointment with you to discuss all your wants and needs. All right, so here's number 1 in 5 mistakes that buyers make when purchasing a home, and it's forgetting about the closing costs. So you've saved for your down payment, that's great. What you also want to do is save a little bit extra, or it could be a lot extra, for the closing costs that you'll have to pay for as well. Things such as your home inspection, your lawyer fees, your property transfer tax, property insurance like your home insurance or your content insurance if you're in a condo, tax adjustments or condo fee adjustments, and general moving costs as well, because if you're moving from across the country, could literally be thousands and thousands of dollars to move. Say you're moving from Ontario to BC, could be literally thousands of dollars. So you want to have that money set aside as well as your down payment, and your realtor should be able to break all this down for you to give you a general idea of how much all the closing costs are going to be. Number 2 mistake that buyers make is buying more home than you can actually afford. One thing I would highly recommend doing is building out a personal budget. Have your income at the top and your expenses subtracted at the bottom to see how much you're spending each month and how much you can actually afford to put towards a mortgage. Because what happens sometimes is the banks will qualify you for more than you can actually afford. So go off your personal budget, go off your home, your family's budget to see how much of a home you can actually afford, not what the banks will qualify you for. Because if they qualify you for more and you're looking in a certain price range and you end up buying in that price range, you might just become house poor, and that's the last thing I would want for you. So build out that budget, see what you can actually afford each month, and stick to that budget. And lastly, a good rule of thumb to live by is not spending more than 25% of your take-home pay on your mortgage payment. Or you can even lump in your mortgage, home insurance, and your condo fees if you have, or strata fees if you have those, and try to lump those in your 25% to see how much you can actually afford. It's a good measurement to see if you're going to be house poor or not. That's the last thing I want for you, is to be house poor and regret purchasing your potential dream home. Number 3 mistakes that buyers tend to make is not having an emergency fund or some sort of fund set aside in addition to your down payment, in addition to those closing costs that we discussed. It's highly recommended to have at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside in just a general savings account at your bank in the event of an emergency. Because the last thing I want you to do is purchase this home, purchase your dream home, and 3, 4, 5 months later, whatever it is, the furnace breaks down and you end up having to dip into the credit card or the line of credit just to pay for this emergency. And what tends to happen then, say your furnace goes, you're spending $10,000 to $15,000 on a credit card, other things come up and you're just deeply in debt, and this house just becomes a burden. And by having an emergency fund in place, these emergencies no longer become emergencies because you simply have the cash to pay for them. And number 4 mistake that buyers make is not researching the neighborhood that they're going to be living in. Chances are, if you are looking for a new home, and especially if you're looking to relocate, say from Ontario to BC, you're going to be looking online and you're not going to know what the neighborhood looks like. So make sure when you are working with your realtor or a realtor, say out in BC, make sure they know the different areas and make sure they know what exactly it is that you're looking for in the house itself, of course, but in the neighborhood as well. Make sure they're discussing with you the amenities that you need in that neighborhood. So maybe you need to have schools nearby, maybe walking distance to schools. Do you need shopping nearby? Do you need the recreational centers nearby? All that sort of thing. Make sure they're discussing that with you to understand what your needs and wants are within a neighborhood. And if you are in town, drive around those neighborhoods during the day, maybe during like more of a rush hour, during like a school time, 8:30ish. And drive around at night as well, or during rush hour, just to see if you do actually like those areas during those times of day. And if you don't mind the traffic, or maybe you do, you'll figure it out by actually pretending like you live in that neighborhood to begin with. Another thing you can do as well is ask a neighbor or the neighbors in that neighborhood how they like living there. Why did they move there to begin with? What do they like, or what are the pros and cons to them about living in that area? Ask all those questions before you purchase your home. And the number 5 mistake that buyers make is not choosing the right real estate agent, or not choosing to work with one at all. As a buyer, there's no expense to you working with a real estate agent. Our commissions come out of the transaction itself, so it's not another closing cost or another bill that you're going to get in the mail at the end of the month or anything like that. Our commissions come out of the transaction through the seller. And when you are working with a real estate agent, make sure they have your best interests in mind and not their own. If you do have that feeling that they're just working for the commission and that's it, it might be time to look for a new real estate agent. And don't feel like you have to work with that person. You can always, quote unquote, fire them and go look for someone that has your best interests in mind, that's going to be working for you. And one thing I really like that I heard recently is that they had the heart of a teacher. So someone that's actually going to teach you the process from start to finish, how everything works, how the process of purchasing a home works, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. You probably have no idea, or maybe you've owned a home for 25 years and you're becoming a buyer again. You're selling your home, you're buying something else, you're downsizing, and you don't know what the process is anymore because it has changed drastically in the last 25 years. So make sure that real estate agent has the heart of a teacher. And again, if you're suspecting or you're feeling like they're just trying to get the sale and that's everything they're after, they're not in it to teach you anything, they're not in it for your best interests, it might be time to find another real estate agent. That's it for this video. If you do have further questions, if you're a buyer, seller, general questions about the Kelowna or the Okanagan real estate market, you can get a hold of me at my phone number, or you can email me directly, or you can book an appointment with me in the link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please drop it a like so others like you can see it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you do like these videos and you want to see more. Thank you so much and have a good day.